My dear wife, I'd like to welcome you all to Rough Draft's final concert, but I can't only do that. I'd like to welcome you to Shelley's 50th. And earlier on today, I was quite comfortable standing up here without these new devices, but being a bit intimidated by the number of people who are such eloquent speakers, and one of those being Shelley, I think I have to just resort to one or two little notes here. 1966, two things happened that'll probably never happen again, and I know one won't happen again. One, of course, is Shelley won't get born again, and I'm glad because sorry, Gary. I think they broke the mold. And the other thing, of course, is England winning the Soccer World Cup.
That's not going to happen again either.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know if this is coincidental or not, but being a music man, I had to just do a bit of musical research, and The Sounds of Silence was #1 in the world. And the Trogs released Wild Thing. And I don't know if this was some kind of a relay, passing the baton on, one great group of people passing on to someone who's destined to become pretty great herself. Is the Beatles played their final concert in '66 as well. In the days of when we were growing up, it was all about IQ. Looking around the country at the moment, I think it's a bit more about 4Q. But fortunately, Shelley is filled with a lot of EQ. She does have a bit of the former too as well. But those things that have made her in the sports field, the social life, the professional life, and equally in our family, still in our family. The determination, the passion, the tenacity, work ethic have been evident in all walks of life, and no less than organising tonight. When she said that she wanted a Mongolian braai, that was what we were going to have. And I'm sorry about the smoke. The long-term forecast about 10 days ago was about 8 degrees, and it probably feels like that to some of you. And Shelley said, no, we're doing it. I said, should we move it somewhere else? No, we're doing it. I want it in my house. And it's made it work. And I think also a tribute to the kinds of friends that she's made in the last, I can't say 50 years, but certainly the wide range of people that are here. Also, should I move?
Away from
keep talking. Just talk. Okay, I'll keep talking. And, okay. I can't because I can't see what I'm saying. The wide range of friends are equally going to make this party work, and I think that's also a tribute to the type of people that she's met over the years. We know about her performances and what she's achieved in such a wide range of areas. Each of you know that, and I think for me and what I've seen as an example to young children and also to adults is the kind of role model that she is. Steadfast, loyal, true, and fighting for justice, fighting for just causes, fighting for what is right, no matter what that is. And I think many of you may have tried to take her on in some kind of debate. Some of you might have thought that you've won, but I've listened to some of those, and I know that I've given up a long time ago, not because I don't like arguing, because I know this woman is filled with intellect, she's filled with knowledge, and understands what it is to argue the right points. A role model for young women, a role model that Kath probably doesn't fully understand at the moment, but I think in years that she certainly will. The one thing she does understand is, of course, the ability to play on the phone, which I'm not sure that she got from her mother, but she certainly is inspired by her mother. I think Shelley's on something like 11 trillion on Candy Crush. I don't know. She also has about 5 million Facebook friends, and they probably would have been here tonight if they could have been here tonight. And if some of you are here, please introduce yourself to me. A dear wife, a dear friend, someone that I love dearly. I'm very grateful for you all joining us tonight to celebrate her 50th. Can you please charge your glass and drink a toast? Oh. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shelley. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, Vanessa. Hello, everybody. If you've got my speech, I really would like it back. And if you don't give it to me, it was short and I'm going to speak for an hour. So, I'm not sure, being who I am, whether I hit it really well and now I don't know where I put it, or whether you've hidden it really well. So I'm going to have to wing it. I'm sorry. I didn't actually...
you wing a speech?
I really did put some points on paper, but here I stand. I just want to make a comment about turning 50. Thank you for the many, many comments about the level of maturity versus age that you've given to me. Lisa Hobson, especially, for insisting every time you look at me on telling me that if you haven't grown up by the time you turn 50, you don't have to. So I'm not going to. Because I'm winging it, I might forget some of my thank yous. I grew up in a household, I think, where there were no difficulties or confusions. My parents were staunch Catholics who drank up a storm, smoked up a storm, and swore a lot. So I learned my very strong values. And if I swore, I got mustard in my mouth and whatever was closest, the wooden spoon, broom hanger, whatever. No, but I grew up in a house of where I always, and that's what I'm looking around now today, I have always, for the last 50 years, had enough and more. Enough to eat, enough material things, enough love, enough friends and more, enough happiness. I'm incredibly privileged and blessed. And that's been 50 years of enough and more. And people say that life starts after 50. So if those have been the first 50, then boy, do I look forward to the next 50. And given that the person who's already born who is going to live to 150, then I live in hope. In our house, what was modeled really was also just enormous generosity. My mother always used to say, if someone arrived for supper or arrived when we were eating, there's always enough for everyone, even if family each get 1p. And that was the way we lived. My mum and dad did that. We also grew up feral and wild. We grew up in the days where if it was holidays, you were kicked outside early in the morning and you came back when it got dark, and you ran in the summer in barefoot and in the winter in Wellington boots. And we built forts and climbed trees, and my mother, the one time we did get into trouble is we also played chicken with the trains. The last person to dive off the track was the bravest. And the one day someone from the train had decided they would screech to a halt and chase us home, and told my mother, and we got a heck of a hiding that day. My mum, when I remember when I moved in with Gary and I wanted to exchange my 3/4 bed for a little slightly bigger bed. My mum had the cheek to say, for the first 5 years of our marriage, we had a 3/4 bed. My mum married on the 2nd of February and turned 20. She turned 21 on the 2nd of February. On the 6th of February, she got married, and 9.5 months later she had Zane, 10.5 months later she had me, and 16 months later she had Daryl, and she thought I didn't guess that they only had a 3/4 baby. So, it was pretty obvious. It was quite something growing up with a brother on either side of me, because it wasn't a place for sissies. I remember being pinned up against a wall and the pellet gun shot at me, and we also used to set up wars with pellet guns, and we lived through it. I can imagine if we'd done something like that today. And guava fights, there was a big guava tree in the yard across the road from us, and we used to have guava fights that the entire road was splattered with guavas. We got a hiding for that one too. But Mum, I think, and Dad in his absence, thank you for making the trip up here. You really are the matriarch of the family now, and it's really, really great to have you here. And my aunt and uncle, who've also come up from Cape Town, Charles and Edie, thank you for being here. I lived with them for a while, and they taught me all sorts of things they shouldn't. And this is where I really hope that I don't forget some people. But those that have made it up from Cape Town, my sister-in-law Sandy, friends, Heather and Taran and Ords, who actually even flew back from Singapore for my wedding, so she really is great at being at the big functions that I have. And these friends all go back to varsity days. And from Neisner, well, Dave and Brennan, Dave is like a second father to me. He's the only person in the whole world that I never swear in front of, but I might have got that a bit wrong tonight, Dave, sorry. And thank you to Mark and Avril that are here from Neisner, and Frosty from Port Elizabeth, and I hope I've got all the people that have come from far. Thank you to the Grahamstonian friends. Thanks so much to you guys for being here. I'm sorry about the weather. I thought I had a more direct line. I'll go and work on that with Rob tomorrow. And then I think that's one of the proudest moments of my life. And I say proud and not happy, and I'll say something about that now. I warned you, if you'd given me my speech, I wouldn't be rambling like this. Was when my brother married Gary and me. It was a very special celebration having my brother do that. And I'd like to drink a toast to absent friends. And absent friends are my dad, who I lost in the first 3 months in Grahamstown. It was so unexpected that I still sometimes have to pinch myself. To my brothers, my one brother in Wellington with his family in New Zealand. I think that's where it is. And then my other brother is leading a pilgrimage at the moment in Rome. And Gary's little brother, who is in Chobe, and his mum, who was insisting until 2 days ago she was coming too, and I know Sally was very nervous that that might be happening. But if we can please just drink a toast to all the other friends that couldn't make it tonight, and to those close family friends, and especially to my dad. Cheers. Cheers. Absent friends.
Absent friends.
2 days ago, we celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary.
It's still paper.
And it'll probably always be paper, because those things aren't really important to either of us. But I wrote to Gary, and I do want to, if you don't mind, Madam, I want to share what I wrote to him. I forgot to get anything, and he did give me a card and some flowers, but I wrote him an email, which is the main way we communicate anyway. Sometimes we use WhatsApp. But I said to him that I thought I loved him when I married him, and I now look back on that day 15 years ago, and I think how brave and stupid I was, because I was so naive to think that was love, because it just gets stronger and stronger. And I remember saying that there are no guarantees, and marriage comes with struggles. Well, ours is just being comfortable and easy and loving, and there haven't been any difficult times that I can remember, and I'm extremely fortunate to have a man that supports me and loves me and has no ego. So that surely helps in my job as well. And Gav, for this party, which is quite amazing, he did all of this. I've had a week that's been interesting to say the least. And so I didn't know what was happening, and it just got bigger and bigger when I saw what he'd organized. And I'm so grateful to you for this party and for being the wonderful husband that you are. Thank you. Thank you. And so just a few other thank yous. My darling Kath, who is the love of my life and my pride and my joy. And my friend Taryn always jokes about it. She says she's the most kissed child. She doesn't let me kiss her as much as I used to, but every time I do get a chance, I still grab her and just kiss her everywhere all the time. She knows when she was a baby, that just was constant. And I think you know how much I love you and how very proud I am of the women you're becoming. Very, very nervous of the next 5 years. I have to admit, the signs that are coming out there show that it's going to be an interesting ride and rocky at times, but we'll do it together, Mum, Dad, and you, and I love you very much. In his absence, I know Gary got a lot of support from Ivor in our kitchen, and so I thank Ivor, and not in his absence, to Steve Emsley, who's been carting stuff here and helping get all the, where are you, Steve? Nothing is really ever too much trouble for Steve, and so thank you to you for your organisation of the party. And then last of all, and now I'm going to shut up, and I hope I haven't left anyone out, but to Rough Graft. I'm glad that my party is your last, where are you? There you are. I'm glad that my party is your last performance, but I'm sad that it is a last, and that you're leaving. And so I'm going to use this platform to say to you and Debs and your 3 beautiful children, lots of love and happiness in New Zealand, and we've got to find a way to get there somewhere along the line. Thank you. Gail, you're going to tell them how to do this Mongolian braai.
I think you're far better at doing that sort of thing now.
Okay. I'm not very good at telling people what to do, but I'm going to. Gary says he has given instructions. We're not really sure how it works. It's just been something we've wanted to try. But I think what you do is you get a bowl and you fill it with all the food that you might want to eat. And then there's some par-cooked noodles that you can put in. So then you stir fry that, and then you throw the par-cooked noodles on and you heat them up. See, I don't know. So, and there's sauces there, and if you want them, you put them on or you don't. And Gary's going to be doing some chicken burgers. So the kids and anyone who doesn't like stir fry, there's also chicken burgers. And there's heaps of wine we've been buying for the last 5-6 months. And every time Gary thinks he's got enough, I bring a few friends round and he's got to buy again. But I think we've managed. So stay late, dance, have fun, and just thanks for celebrating this with me.